What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into TTP Sports. We're doing something a little bit differently here than the live streams. Why not, go back to the good old recorded fashion for some type of reactions like this. Also, it's early in the afternoon. A lot of you guys are at work, so you probably won't even be able to watch this on a live stream. So I figured, why not bring this, type of stuff back? And I'll probably get more into details before we end this little video off here. But let's get into the important business of the day because, as we're all sound asleep catching some big Z's, waking up on Halloween morning, and you know how you turn your phone off at night, you turn your phone back on. This is what I do, so I don't know if any of you guys do this, but I turn my phone back on when I wake up, and then, you check all the notifications that you missed overnight, whether it's emails, text messages, or anything like that. And then I wake up to even more notifications from 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning. Let me repeat that again, because this is crazy. A 2 in the morning breaking news NBA trade from Woj. What the hell? 2 in the morning? God damn. Barely any of us are awake. Even though there's some maniacs that are awake here on the East Coast at 2 in the morning. Sometimes that is including myself. But tonight I was not. I was catching some much needed sleep. And then, holy hell, what the hell did I miss? I go to my group chat. They're talking about all this crap. Holy shit. So, getting into the actual report from Woj at 2 in the morning. I'm going to remind you that again, 2 in the morning, that the Sixers trade James Harden to the Los Angeles Clippers for a couple of draft picks, a pick swap, and a lot of players in return as well. Definitely no superstar that Daryl Morey wanted involved in this James Harden trade. But the fact that you were able to get, 2 first-round picks, and we'll go over the full details of the trade in a couple of seconds here, but getting, a lot of draft picks in return here, you get a lot of guys on expiring deals to where it's going to free up a ton of cap space this coming off season, and especially that's also including with the Tobias Harris contract coming up after this year. So I saw, in terms of cap space around the NBA for this upcoming offseason, the Sixers are going to have around $60 to $65 million in cap space plus. So there's going to be a lot of room to work with here for Daryl Morey and trying to find ways to improve this team for the long run to build around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, because what those two have been doing in the first 3 games of the season has been very entertaining to watch. The 2-man game between, Maxey and Embiid. It's just fun. Whatever, the pick and roll, the quick back and forth passing, leaving Maxey wide open at the top of the key, Joel Embiid down low, doing his thing, dominating down there. And, all that results in the Tyrese Maxey getting Eastern Conference Player of the Week, which is fabulous to see that in the first 3 games for him. The way, that it looks like he's already taking another step in his game, something that we just think wasn't going to happen that quickly. And there were definitely going to be a lot of question marks surrounding Tyrese Maxey becoming the primary ball handler for the Sixers team, especially, without all this James Harden drama and nonsense there, because, as much as we despise James Harden here in the city of Philadelphia, there's a lot to say about the way that he facilitates on the floor and how much of an elite passer that he is. He led the league in damn assists last year, so there's a reason for that. And that was going to be a huge thing missing from your lineup. And how was, Tyrese Maxey under Nick Nurse? How was him going to be the primary ball handler? How was that going to work out here? And so far in the first 3 games, Tyrese Maxey has been absolutely outstanding. So I just hope that continues for the long run, and he just continues this growth and this development into becoming a star player in this league and becoming an electric, number 1, number 2 option for this team with Joel Embiid. And whatever, Daryl Morey, Elton Brand, they're going to do to build around these guys, I'm not sure if it's going to be this season or they're going to wait until the offseason. Right now, they can, breathe a sigh of relief that they're just out of this James Harden nonsense. That is the most important thing there. The James Harden nonsense going through all of the offseason just left a tire sour taste in the mouth of Sixers fans, to where they just didn't care about what happened during the season, myself included, because I was just in a bunch of negative thoughts with, choking in the playoffs last year when you were up 3-2 in the series against Boston, when you had a good shot with, 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter to close out that series and your players just didn't show up, to all the James Harden continuation of the drama in the offseason with him and Daryl Morey. It was just, something that we wanted to ignore, something that we just, put in the back burner because at the end of the day, it just made us not care. Now that you got James Harden gone, you got a good chunk of players in return, a lot of veterans, in this league. They're not going to be playing a good chunk of minutes. They may be getting some rotation minutes off of the bench, maybe nothing major, but overall, it's just, I would say right now this is a good trade, especially in the combination of the draft picks that you could get for James Harden. It gives Daryl Morey a lot of wiggle room in terms of what he's going to do with the draft picks, whether that's trading to get another superstar to build around Maxey and Embiid and, all the cap space that he is going to accumulate in the offseason, what he does with that cap space. So there's a lot of question marks that we can revolve around that. So it's a good day in Sixers land right here. And now that James Harden is gone, we can now just focus on the season, have fun watching Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, and that's basically it there. And whatever this team does is whatever this team does. So that's basically a first step into righting the ship right now. I know there's still going to be a ton of discussions about Joel Embiid possibly requesting a trade out of the city of Philadelphia, but now maybe with this trade and all the accumulated cap space that you did get for James Harden, maybe Daryl Morey and Elton Brand can find a way to convince Joel Embiid to stay here for the long run and find someone else to help with him and Tyrese Maxey. So that's definitely something that we're going to be looking forward to as we move along here. So actually, let's get into the fucking details of this trade because I never even mentioned the full details of this trade. I just went on to the whole ramble spiel and everything like that. So let's get into all this stuff. So like I said, this was 2 a.m, so barely anyone was awake except for like guys in Central Standard Time, Mountain Standard Time, Pacific Standard Time. A lot of people on the East Coast were probably asleep at this point. So let's get into the details here. So from Woj and everything like that, Shams and everything like that. So Sixers are trading James Harden and PJ Tucker to the Los Angeles Clippers for Nicholas Batum, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, and KG Martin, and draft picks, sources tell The Athletic. And then the draft compensation that the Clippers are sending to the Philadelphia 76ers in the James Harden trade is a 2026 first-round pick via the Oklahoma City Thunder, a 2028 first-round pick from the Clippers, 2 second-round picks, and a pick swap. So all these players, if you're looking at everything right here, PJ Tucker and James Harden go into the Clippers. The players that are in return to the Sixers, it's just the Clippers trying to accumulate all that total cap space so they can find a way to fit James Harden and PJ Tucker into the roster. That's basically the summarization there. And for, Batum, Morris, Covington, and KG Martin, veterans in this league, they played in here for a while. I guess a lot of, process heads for the Sixers and, the whole nostalgia factor that you get Rocco back Covington. So I guess that'll be a little bit of a fun reunion there, even though Robert Covington, who even knows how much this guy even has left in the tank, especially a lot of these guys, but who knows whatever Nick Nurse is going to do in terms of the rotations. Like I said, these guys are aging vets. They're probably not going to get the most minutes in the world. They'll probably get some bench rotations, but it's not going to be anything major. This was just, the Clippers sending a lot of guys over here just to equal the cap space so they could fit Harden and PJ Tucker into their roster. So the biggest thing here is basically all the draft picks that you were able to get in this trade. We all know, like I said earlier, that Daryl Morey was expecting to try to hold out to get a superstar in return to James Harden. But at the end of the day, James Harden did get what he wanted, and that was getting traded to the Clippers. So at this point, James Harden didn't travel with the team in the first game to Milwaukee. He tried to travel with the team to Toronto for the second game, but, Daryl Morey, Elton Brand, and a lot of everyone just said, no, you're going down to the training facility to practice. And he was at the home opener on Sunday, so there was something to that there, sitting on the bench with PJ Tucker. So, but at the end of the day, you're able to get this out of your hair, off your shoulders. You're able to stress a little bit less here and just focus on what the season is going to be with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. That's basically the summarization there. And with these first-round picks and these second-round picks, how creative is Daryl Morey going to get? That's the most important thing there. how creative can Daryl Morey get with these draft picks? Because if you're just solely looking at the cap space that this team is going to be getting in the offseason, and it is going to be a lot, it's going to be around 60 plus mil in cap space. That's probably going to be like the second most in the league from what I saw. So there's definitely something to that if you want to look specifically at free agency, because you also need to include the Tobias Harris contract in there, because his contract will be coming off the books in the offseason as well. So if I go to Spot Track right here just to look at the free agents for the upcoming offseason for the NBA, there's really not many gigantic names. A lot of guys that are old and, above 33, 34 and stuff like that. But, Klay Thompson would be the top free agent on the market, but I just don't expect him to leave Golden State or anything like that, or even know how much does this guy even have left in the tank. James Harden technically would be a free agent in the upcoming offseason. Pascal Siakam is definitely an intriguing name because, his connection with Nick Nurse playing with the Raptors and coaching the Raptors all those years. And Pascal Siakam was on the Raptors team that won the championship. Even though he wasn't a primary option, he was a good guy off the bench, just a young guy in that process right there. So he's going to be turning around 30 by the time the offseason happens. And maybe that could be something that you look into free agency for, getting a nice, replacement there for Tobias Harris in the offseason. But if you're just looking at more of the free agents here, it's just, Kyle Lowry, how much more does this guy have in the tank? DeMar DeRozan and all this stuff, Buddy Hield and everything there. So there's just really not much here on the market. So I do think with these draft picks, Daryl Morey is definitely going to find a way to be creative with those and maybe utilize these draft picks to possibly get another star here to build around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. That's definitely going to be what most of us are expecting at this point, and that's basically it. I'm not sure if it's going to be happening this season, around the trade deadline, or Daryl Morey is already on the phones right now trying to work at stuff, because if you're looking at these, draft picks from the Clippers, in 2028, that could possibly be a really good draft pick because, if you're thinking about the Clippers right now, they got a very banged up Kawhi Leonard, and who knows how many games he's going to be playing this year. You got an older James Harden that's very stingy and very selfish. You got an older Russell Westbrook. You got an older Paul George. Clippers are basically assembling a championship roster from the mid-2010s. So all these guys are way past their primes. They're old in this league right now, even though they can still produce. They're getting older. They're more injury prone. So how much, even more competitive years will the Clippers even have with this quote unquote big four that they have assembled here? So how much is that even going to process here? So that 2028 first round pick from the Clippers could be something that's very intriguing for a lot of teams, because the Clippers at that point could be very, very bad. And I'm assuming that first round pick is unprotected. So that could definitely be intriguing to a lot of teams around the NBA. So maybe Daryl Morey can utilize something with that. Maybe he does something as well with the Oklahoma City first round pick that they're getting in here. And they also got 2 second round picks in the mix as well. So Daryl Morey can definitely get very creative in this discussion for trades. I definitely have seen some rumors that, maybe Zach LaVine could be something like that in the intrigue for the Sixers. But in terms of that, I'm not sure what type of star that, a team would be willing to give up that can come the Sixers' way for these draft picks. So right now, the main guy that I have been seeing has been Zach LaVine. But overall, I'm not entirely sure what Daryl Morey is. And I'm not the guy in the position like Daryl Morey is. So he knows more what he's doing than I am. So I'm just the guy here talking in front of the camera for you guys, just explaining this trade. So, and just sharing my thoughts and opinions on the trade. So I don't fully know what Daryl Morey can do. But at least right now, as a fan base, we can just take a sigh of relief and take a deep breath knowing that this James Harden drama is done, and we can at least enjoy what the two-man game of Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey are going to continue to bring us as the season goes along. And, Nick Nurse, his effect has been definitely showing in the first 3 games, so it'll be very exciting to see how much he can continue to build this team around right here. So that'll be very exciting to watch. Their next game isn't until Thursday, so maybe we can have a recap in tune for that. And, maybe we could start the recaps a little more consistently here, just because now the drama with James Harden is gone. So definitely in terms of the recording right here, this is my first time doing a recording and not a stream in a while. So Maybe in terms of when there's Flyers games and Sixers games on the same exact night, we could probably just utilize the recording process here and make things 20 billion times easier instead of just doing 2 live streams on the same night. So that probably will be the easier thing here. So definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section down below if you would prefer to see that, just because it'll make the work a lot easier in terms of, you know, just recapping and everything like that. So definitely, if you guys want to see more recorded content instead of just the live streams, I know a lot of you guys do appreciate the live streams. I do love it as well, just interacting with you guys live on chat and everything here. But sometimes doing recordings can just make it a little bit easier, so you don't have to stress too much around all that stuff. So definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section down below on your thoughts on future stuff around that in terms of recaps and everything. And, whatever's going to happen later today, because today is also the NFL trade deadline, whether, Howie Roseman's going to make any more moves, because there definitely is a lot of rumors and revolving around that. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. So I'm not sure what Howie was going to do, but there's a lot of things here. But back to the Sixers talk here. It's basically just waiting to see what else happens and what other moves Daryl Morey's going to make. It's definitely not going to be anytime soon, in my honest opinion. It's probably going to be more closer to the trade deadline, off-season type things, because you don't have the cap space right now to make those trades. You'll have the cap space in the off-season to do that, because you'll be getting a lot of cap space there. So right now it's just, seeing how far this two-man game of Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey can take you. And it's not, say to Tobias Harris, because Tobias Harris has been playing really good as well. So there's a lot of things that you can work around here. So how much can Nick Nurse get out of this roster? We'll wait and see. And how much can he, work some of these veterans that he got from the Clippers into possibly the bench rotation? And how many minutes are those guys going to be playing? So there's a lot of question marks surrounding about that, and we'll just wait and see. I'm just going to enjoy what Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey are doing. And how long can this, thing, save us? Can Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid be the saviors of this team? And I still love Joel Embiid. There's just a lot of sour thoughts about what happened in the playoffs last year. But, new season, new clean slate, and everything like that. And if Tyrese Maxey continues to ball the way that he's been balling, it might be, more exciting than not. So that'll be something to look forward to at least. We do have a voicemail here on an Anytime Hotline, so let's definitely get to that area. My buddy did say he was going to leave a voicemail, so I think he just left it. So let's get to Atreyu's thoughts here on the whole James Harden trade nonsense, and think of, does he think this trade is good for the Sixers and what they could possibly do for the future? So, Atreyu, you can take it away.
Quite frankly, I absolutely love this trade. Know that it may not be the most attractive thing as far as like the players, but you gotta look at KJ Martin. He's an athletic person that could really help us on the team, and I'm excited to see what Nick Nurse can do with these players, because when you think about it, we lack something in the playoffs, and that's depth. We have guys that are versatile that we can switch, and they may not stay as long as the playoffs, but the draft capital is big. We can flip that into, a big player, and then plus the cap space. So I'm a big fan of this trade. I think we got exactly what we needed for James Harden to go. So yeah, I'm excited to see what this team can do. Maxey and Embiid being the two front runners. So yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, it's basically it. The two-man game of Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Let's see how long they carry the front. And yeah, when you bring up, KJ Martin and all that stuff, it's, obviously, a lot of these guys are aging veterans. We don't even know how much gas they have left in the tank. KJ Martin being, the athleticism, you're adding a lot of bench to the depth rotations and all that stuff. How is Nick Nurse going to find a way to work that out? Those are question marks to see how the season goes along and how these guys, implement into Nick Nurse's system. So far in the first 3 games, the players look like they're buying into everything, and it looks like everything is going well right now. So we'll see how everything's going to go along with these veterans that they added to the roster. So maybe, getting James Harden and all that stuff just out of the locker room, getting that cancer and all that stuff out of the locker room, maybe that helps so far. Not sure how, what Atreyu said, how this is going to affect it in terms of team going into the playoffs and everything like that. But right now it does look like this team is trying to do a quick retool a little bit right here. They're still going to be a playoff team. They're still going to be at least a 45-win team, but who knows? They may shock us even more. But in terms of what they do in the playoffs, I have no idea. So that's just something we're going to have to wait and see as the season progresses. And we'll just see how Nick Nurse utilizes these veterans for how much gas they have left in the tank before, you get into this offseason. You utilize these draft picks and possibly getting a star player and utilizing a lot of this cap space that you are going to be, adding to your floor. So there's a lot of good things that we can, discuss here in terms of that. But yeah, fantastic stuff here from Daryl Morey, in my honest opinion. Now let's just see how this team continues to progress, especially with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, because those two have been absolutely very fun. And of course, the trash people are starting to drive by right now. So hopefully you guys aren't hearing that. We're going to end the video off right here. So that's probably the perfect time to end it off with the trash people coming. So to end it off here, so I don't look like an idiot. So definitely, what are your thoughts on the James Harden trade? Do you think it's a success for the Sixers here? Do you like what the acquisitions that they got in terms of the draft picks, the players that they got back? And what do you think Daryl Morey is going to be doing in the future with all this stuff? He utilizes those draft picks to possibly go out and get a star in a trade. And what does he do with the accumulated cap space that they're going to be having in the offseason as the trash people get louder? So I'm going to end this off very quickly. So don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal with the YouTube algorithm. Like I said, I'll be getting more consistent with the Sixers recaps here now that, the whole James Harden nonsense is done. So we'll be utilizing more of the recordings here for when Flyers and Sixers play on the same exact night. So definitely just stay tuned for all of that stuff. So without further ado, that'll do it for today, everybody. We might have something later if the Eagles do anything, so stay tuned for that. But for right now, thank you for tuning into this video, and I'll see you next time.